those items, a general shape, and then go back with the tip of that deer's antler in a method known as pressure flaking. Or a lot of modern flint knappers like to use a copper conduit wire for the same purpose. And the method known as pressure flaking, like I said, they'll lay those items flat, applying pressure directly along the edge with the tip of that deer's antler, or the copper conduit. Now, both of those items are very soft. What it's actually doing is pulling off the smaller flakes of the flint, giving those items a more defined and final shape as well as its sharpness. A couple of different types of arrowheads that we used here. The round-shouldered, secured to the shaft using the hemp fibers. This is the type that we use in hunting the larger game. And with that rounded shoulder and secured using the hemp fibers, it could be extracted and reused. Now, the square-shouldered is a type that we use in warfare. It's secured to the shaft using dried animal sinew. When that sinew would mix with the blood of the adversary, it would cause it to expand and loosen from the shaft. Often when the shaft of the arrow was moved, that arrowhead would remain on the inside, either having to be cut out, pushed through, or just simply left in. Now, the shafts of the arrows come from the mountain cane, very similar to the river cane as you can see, but this is probably full grown that we're looking at here, so it doesn't grow quite as large, also grows in higher elevations. The fletchings of the arrows come from the feathers of the wild turkey. You'll notice that they're notched and also attached at an angle to the shaft, causing those arrows to spiral during flight, making for a more accurate shot, also giving a nice drilling effect upon impact. Now, our bows, usually carved from the hardwoods, like the yellow locust you see all the railing here in the village, a very firm but flexible wood, so it was ideal for use as a bow. It was also not uncommon to use that white oak or hickory. Now, each man would make his own, and they were often the same height as that man. The thickness would determine its strength. Some of our stronger, thicker bows, been anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2 thick, would easily have anywhere from 80 to well over 100 pounds on the string. The string being either hemp or sinew braided together. Now, Fernando de Soto, when he came through our area, he recorded in his journal that his men had great difficulty even pulling the strings of our bows back, and that our arrows would penetrate from the horse's hindquarters to its heart. Now, also originally, we're the only North American tribe to ever use any sort of blowgun. We made ours from the river cane, as you can see. It was later adopted by some of our other neighboring southeastern tribes. We'll first cut the cane and then store to dry. Oftentimes, once it does dry, it'll become crooked. So we'll straighten it back out by first holding it over an open flame, then bend it over the knee, joint by joint, gradually straightening the cane back out again. The same process is used with our dart and arrow shafts. Excuse me. Now, once that cane's straightened, we use a metal tool with a sharp point at one end to knock each of those individual joints out on the inside. And then with a similar metal tool with a file or a rasp attached at the end of it, we'll smooth the inside with an in and out motion. Now, prior to the introduction of those metal tools, they're using just a simple wooden shaft with a flint tip attached to one end. But the flint tip, of course, served to knock those joints out. After packing the cane with river sand, we'd use the opposite end to smooth the inside. Now, the shafts of our darts are carved from the yellow locust. Tails come from the inner down of the purple thistle, stored to dry in the manner that you see here. Now, it typically takes about 2 or 3 of those thistle pods to tail one dart. We use the hemp fibers to secure the thistle down to the shafts of the darts, rather. I'll first tie it to the tail, and then hold the opposite end of that hemp in our mouth, and then take one of those thistle pods holding between the thumb and the forefinger, and remove the exterior, exposing those inner fibers. At the bottom of those fibers are the seedlings. So we'll remove those, replenish them, and then rough those fibers up with the thumb a bit, cause them to heat up and adhere to one another, and just roll them onto the shaft of the dart, wrapping those hemp fibers around the thistle down in sort of a spiral fashion, and then secure it at the base. Now, we've never used our blowguns in any type of warfare, rather for hunting the smaller game and the game birds. The largest animal we kill with a blowgun would probably be the wild turkey. And De Soto recorded that he also observed our men knocking off those turkeys right in the eye from about 50 feet or so. But it's basically the same ratio of a rifle versus a pistol. The greater the length of the barrel, the greater the distance and accuracy. They're accurate anywhere from around 60 to 80 feet. Now, they'll travel well over 100 feet, but it just kind of loses velocity. But like I said, all these different crafts are all things that we've learned from a very early age. That blowgun is no exception. Once you reach an age of comprehension, probably around 3 years of age or so, you'd start experimenting as a young man, as this was eventually a life or death situation. You either ate or you didn't. But we also never used any type of poisons on the tips of our darts. I'll give you a demonstration. Thank you, sir. Oh, I thought you were going to hold the target for me. Shoots pretty good. Oh, in a good way. Retail that dart.
That's what I need to read.
So you eat now or you starve?
Depending.
How hard do you have to blow? Pretty hard?
You just
One good breath?
take a nice deep breath from your diaphragm, like you're getting ready to jump in a pool or something, and then about like blowing a birthday candle out.
What is the weight of the blow gun around 15 pounds?
You hold the whole thing short here,
Yes, sir.
and why not an extension such as firing a long gun?
You know your heartbeat. Every time when your heartbeat, when you hold it out like this, you're on move. Now, when you hold it like this, you have your base of your arm sitting in. More steady.
And also the weight of the cane kind of naturally stabilizes your shot as well. It's just a personal preference to shoot that way. Just what works best for me. I shot a lot of darts in the bank back there before I ever hit the target.
So did everybody hunt for their family, or there was hunters for the
Yes.
tribes?
Well, I mean, we did live very communally originally. And it would have been sort of a shared, but yeah, most likely just hunting for your own family.
Is the longer the arrow, the further it'll go to?
No,
Okay.
not really. Well, I mean, the ones with the great amount of thistle, there's really a fine art to tailing those darts to keep the thistle balanced so they fly accurately, because that's actually what propels the dart through the gun and then on to the target as well. The barrier,
Yeah.
the air block.
Okay. I got it.
These right here are just blanks that I napped up because children coming by, picking them up and getting cut down. So this is